So we're going to talk about now the progression of strengthening our glute muscles, our main rear end muscle that pushes our hips forward. So the most basic exercise there is lying on your stomach and lifting the leg up and then back down. Lifting the opposite leg up and then back down. About 10 to 15 degrees is really all you need. If you only get 5 degrees, that's fine too. As long as we're getting the knee off the table or the bed and then back down. The main thing we want to focus on is activating our rear end muscle to lift the leg up and then back down. Try not to use the back of the leg, the hamstring here. Try not to overuse the lower back muscles here. We want to use the rear end muscle right here to lift the leg up and then back down. Lift the leg up and then back down. So if you're not able to lift your leg up against gravity when you're lying on your stomach, another way to activate the glute muscle is to be lying on your back and simply push the heel into the table or the bed using your rear end muscle back here and then relax. So use your rear end muscle to push the heel into the bed. Hold that for 5 to 10 seconds and then relax. You can even put your hand right there to feel the contraction. Feel your rear end muscle contract to push the heel into the bed or the table. Hold that for 5 or 10 seconds and relax. And again, try not to use the back of the leg, the hamstring muscle. Try to use the glute muscle, the rear end muscle to push the heel down into the table. Now, if we're not able to get a good contraction of the glute while trying to push our heel into the table or the bed, or this is just too complicated of a movement, the most basic thing to do is to just be lying down and then basically just try to squeeze your rear end muscle to try to get a contraction out of it. You can go with the knees bent like this and the feet flat, or you can be just lying down like this. Either one is fine. Just try to squeeze your rear end muscle and then relax and basically get that mind-body connection from your brain to be able to squeeze your rear end, and that will then lead to being able to progress to pushing the heel into the table or the bed, and then that will then progress to being able to lift the leg up like this while lying on your stomach. So now we're going to go over bridges, and these are very important because bridges bring the whole concept together of lengthening out front of the legs and being strong in our rear end muscles to be able to push our hips forward. Lying on your back with the knees bent and feet flat, your focus is to lift up your hips and then to be able to get the knees, hips, and shoulders in a straight line. This is the ideal movement, and you do this by using your rear end muscle here to lift the hip up and then to be able to get to here and get the hips fully lifted upward. If your hamstrings do too much of the work, they might cramp up or you might feel it a lot in the hamstrings. Another common compensation is people will use their quadricep in the front of their leg to push their feet down, and so they might feel it all here. So that's not what you want. They'll also use their lower back muscle too much, and then they'll kind of port from their lower back to lift their hips up. So you want to avoid all those things. Make most of the movement come from the rear end muscle right here to lift the hips up. Now, if you're not able to get to here, that's perfectly fine. You just get as high as you can. What prevents people from lifting all the way up is very commonly the tightness in the front of the legs here, from here basically all the way down to below the knee. That tightness limits them from being able to lift their hips up all the way. And then also weakness in the glute muscles, the rear end muscles, the strength to be able to lift their hips up all the way. And then also the tightness in the front feeds into the weakness in the back, and vice versa. The weakness in the back feeds into the tightness in the front, and that results in not being able to lift our hips up all the way, not having the strength and the motion to be able to do this. So once we create the motion in the front and then the strength in the back, incorporating other exercises as well, stretching out the front of the legs and then strengthening the glute muscles, then over time we're able to get up to this position where we are fully lifting our hips up and we have full motion here. And eventually we're able to even go to a single leg type of activity like this, but that's something that's more advanced. That's something for another day.